Prices are down. Narcotic scourge continues to grow.
Harlem in the mid-'80s felt like two cities in one when Rich Porter walked back out of the prison. The city had shifted. New players, new prices, and a dangerous new currency, fear. Rich wanted messages sent. He didn't do all the dirty work himself. He hired men who specialized in that world, men like Preacher. Preacher wasn't Rich's soldier. He was his own man. He ran a crew that extorted anyone seen making money, and he carried out his hits for the highest bidder. Rumor in the neighborhood was that Rich paid Preacher $10,000 to take out a kid named Sean Moe.
He just took care of some murders for Rich. Rich had paid him like $10,000 before he came home or something to kill this kid Sean Moe. They killed him coming out of 145th Street Garage in St. Nick.
The hit wasn't about one enemy. It was about setting a tone. Preacher's crew collected protection, shook down small timers, and enforced the rules of their block. They made sure anyone making money without paying up felt a cost. They were efficient, brutal, and local, while Preacher collected his debts and took bodies off the map. Rich, Azie, and Alpo kept building their own lanes. They were allies of convenience. They shared respect and territory, but each man moved money his own way. Around this time, Rich was hungry. He had a friend named Reggie that introduced him to a man named Fritz.
I introduced Richard Porter to the block in 1986. Richard Porter, I called him, "Yo, Rich, I'm home." He said, "Yo, Reg, I'm on my way." Rich drove up in a white M3 BMW, jumped out with the Hail Mary on with the Adidas suit. "Yo, what's up?" And Fritz was sitting right on the stoop. And this was a classic moment. I always tell everybody this. So Rich said, "Yo, Reg, yo, where your man Fritz at?" I said, "Listen, man, he's right behind me, over my left shoulder, but don't stare at him, just look, that's it." Now Fritz was sitting on the stoop with an old raggedy shirt on, old jeans, and some bummy ass sneakers. Richard Porter looked over my shoulder and said, "Yo, come on, Reggie, man, stop playing." Hit me in my chest. "Yo, stop playing. Come on, that bum ass thing. Where your man Rich at?" I said, "That's him." And he said, "Oh, incognito." So clothes didn't matter to Rich. Cars didn't matter. He didn't like any flashy cars to be on the block.
Meeting Fritz would change the flow of supply in Harlem. Fritz was known as the consignment king. Low profile, high volume. He gave credit. He trusted the right cats. And he let workers grow into his product. He didn't flash or brag. He moved weight quietly and widely. Azie's Juke Box wasn't just a game room. It was a business set up to hide product and move it fast. Arcade machines, game cabinets, and a back counter where transactions happen in plain sight. But success breeds greed. One of Azie's right-hand men, Travis, started stealing from the business, swapping out Azie's product with his product, looking to make a quick flip. Small move, but letting shit like that slide can threaten the whole business. Alpo didn't hesitate when he walked in with Azie and caught Travis red-handed. See, Alpo's the type who read threats as orders. He caught Travis, and in the heat of the moment, nearly killed him, putting a pause on him. Azie pulled Alpo back, but the message was clear. Betrayal would be answered with violence. The Juke Box was popping, yeah, but problems multiplied. Stick-up kids were hitting the doors. The Police were circling the areas, lurking, and the jukebox was increasingly a spotlight of trouble. And Azie realized he had to let it go. But Alpo stepped to Azie and told him he's thinking murder. He's thinking they should put the murder game down. He didn't want the constant chaos of small robberies. He wanted control. So he took the plan into his own hands. He went and hired a couple guys. They went and found one of the robbers, snatched him up, shoved him into a van, and made him talk. Under pressure, he named the names. These names led addresses into bodies. Shots echoed down 147th and 7th Avenue. The stick-up kids learned the cost of stealing from the wrong house. Fear worked, the robbery stopped, but the trail of blood left a new problem. The block had changed. It was hotter. People whispered about Alpo's willingness to deal death as easily as he dealt with coke. So Azie started doing the math and realized the Juke Box had been profitable, but it had become a liability. He offered it up to the crew and asked if anyone wanted to take the spot. Nobody wanted to take it. They were so comfortable with being spoon-fed. Wherever A went, that's where they wanted to go. So Alpo said, yeah, let me take the spot. Shit, I'll take it. He brought in his own foot soldiers, Fat J, and a couple others who knew how to run a violent block. The jukebox stayed open, but the war had changed hands. Azie stepped away from the hottest corner and expanded. Also still had the spot on 134th Street, and then opened another spot called the First Base Candy Store on 132nd Street in Lenox. Each location was a lesson in business: clear product, clean fronts, and measured, controllable staff. Good dope sells itself, Azie would say. He built systems to limit exposure, trusted runners, coded exchanges, and fronts that looked like everyday life. Overnight success was an understatement. By 87, the business was bigger, faster, and more dangerous. Supply from Fritz meant consistent product. Purchase extortion and hits meant anyone could be erased. Alpo's willingness to enforce made the streets obey. Azie's system made money flow faster. Rich's swagger and connections kept their names on every block. They were kings of an empire built on fast money, fear, and loyalty. But empires like these turn on themselves. The same streets that made them could take them in a blink.